Today I want to talk about Charlie Kirk, about his death, about his ideology, and about the life he lived. Let me make one thing clear right from the beginning. I do not agree with his core ideology. I do not resonate with his philosophy of life. But that does not matter, because beyond all differences of opinion, one truth shines. Charlie Kirk was a passionate man. And passion, real passion, especially for existential questions and for seeking truth, is something I deeply admire in any human being. This is my tribute to him, from one passionate individual to another. Let's begin with the tragic event itself, his assassination. To kill someone simply because you disagree with their opinions, what could be more cowardly? And the irony is unbearable. In a nation that calls itself the bastion of free speech and the land of democracy, a man was silenced for his voice. His death is not just about one individual. It is about the sickness of a divided nation. America today is fractured, radicalized, drowning in hatred between tribes. And in such a climate, voices like Charlie Kirk, loved by some, hated by others, become lightning rods of division. But before we go deeper, let me introduce him to those who may not know much. Charlie Kirk was an American conservative activist, writer, and founder of Turning Point USA, an organization advocating for free markets and limited government. He was bold, outspoken, and fiercely committed to conservative values. Supporters called him a voice for liberty. Critics dismissed him as polarizing. I first came across him through social media, watching his fiery debates with college kids. And let me admit, watching him spar was a delight. He was sharp, quick with facts, logic, and clarity. And often the students debating him would collapse into emotions, outrage, and slogans, while he remained grounded in reason. Even though I didn't agree with most of his views, I found myself respecting his ability to argue with conviction. This is an important lesson. If you want to be a good debater, or even just a clear thinker, you must learn objectivity, logic, and consistency. Charlie embodied that skill, and that deserves respect. But today, I want to move beyond admiration and talk about something deeper. His assassination, his ideology, and the hatred surrounding him all point to one fundamental issue. An issue not just for America, not just for conservatives or liberals, but for humanity as a whole. That issue is identity, the image we create of ourselves, the borrowed masks we cling to. Charlie used to argue passionately against gender fluidity, against what he saw as the identity crisis of America. For him, the solution was conservative and Christian values. That stance brought him love from the right and hate from the left. But here's what I see. Both sides are prisoners of the same disease, the disease of belief. One side clings to old religious morality, the other to emotional liberalism. My life, my rules versus God's values and God's rules. But both are beliefs. Both are borrowed. Neither is born from authentic self-inquiry, and belief is the death of true thinking. This is why we see violence. Because when identity is threatened, people react with rage. To one group, Charlie was a hero. To the other, he was a villain. And in that clash of borrowed identities, blood was spilled. That is why I always say, stop believing and start knowing. A belief system, no matter how noble it looks, paralyzes your ability to think. Whether you cling to religion or to modern liberal morality, you are still trapped. Real freedom does not come from shouting, "Follow your heart," or "Live your own truth." Real freedom comes only from self-knowledge. Without it, your so-called freedom is just another illusion. Charlie himself showed this contradiction. He was passionately pro-life. He fought to defend the unborn. But when asked about the lives of animals, his ethics collapsed. He fell back on vague Christian logic. He could see human suffering, but turned blind to animal suffering. Why? Because his belief system blinded him. On the other side, when liberals are asked tough questions about gender or biological realities, their logic collapses too. Suddenly, emotions take over and reason disappears. So what is the lesson here? Both sides are not free. Both are chained to borrowed identities. And both refuse the real challenge to inquire deeply, honestly, into truth. Charlie Kirk lived and died within that storm of belief. But beneath all of it, one thing remains undeniable: his passion. He fought fiercely for what he believed. And even though I disagree with his answers, I respect the fire of his questioning. Because in the end, humanity doesn't need more blind believers. It needs passionate seekers, people who are willing to go beyond tribe, beyond religion, beyond ideology, people who dare to face the unknown without hiding behind belief. Charlie Kirk's life reminds us of both sides of this truth, the power of passion and the danger of identity. May we learn from both. May we keep the fire of passion alive, but direct it toward authentic self-knowledge, not borrowed masks. That is the only way to honor any passionate man. And that is my tribute to Charlie Kirk.